Our little star from a faraway land. Twinkling eyes that made us fall in love with him for the rest of our lives. Chapter 1. Destiny brought us together and love bonded us tighter. Author, Raylan Rhea. I was born in a field where blood flowed like water. A field where the screams of the dying sang songs for the enemies, a field where women were both worshipped as gods and yet forbidden to exist. So how did I, an infant, appear out of nowhere in such a place, where not even a female mosquito dared to roam? It was evening, just after the final whistle had blown to mark the end of that day's war. The echo of screams still lingered in the air, slowly fading like smoke after a wildfire. Amidst the silence, a scream, gentle, soothing, and strangely soft, reached the ears of the one man no one expected to hear anything, the general of the Great Xiwei Army, Jun Jaeyun. Due to a past bomb blast, his hearing wasn't what it used to be. Yet somehow, he heard me. He walked towards the sound and found me, an infant, silent now, but very much alive, wrapped in the blood-stained flag of Xiwei's mortal enemy, the Great Xiwei. He lifted me with his scarred, blood-stained hands. His expression, usually cold and hardened like he was about to collect war debts, softened slightly. For a second, something shifted. The soldiers surrounding him were startled. Upon seeing the flag, they instinctively raised their weapons, ready to strike down the helpless, mouthless child. But then I began to cry, loudly, fearfully, disturbed by the sudden noise and aggression. At once, the general turned sharply and stared them down with a fury colder than death. His silence was enough to paralyze them. They stepped back, lowered their weapons, and shut their mouths. As the sun began to set, General Jun Jaeyun held me closer and took me back to his barracks. He ordered a subordinate to fetch a wet nurse, for I was clearly crying out of hunger. After placing me gently on his stiff, war-hardened bed, he removed his armor and blood-soaked clothes. By the time he had changed, the nurse was ready. I fed until my tiny stomach felt like it would burst. I wanted to explore, to see where I was, but I was just a baby. And after a full meal, sleep took over. The wet nurse was dismissed, and the general called for his right-hand man, Uncle Youngnim. Youngnim had practically raised his little sister, even while being away from home due to the war. His lullabies were famous among those who knew him, sweet as honey and warm as home. The moment I heard his voice, I fell asleep, my cries replaced by tiny breaths and peace. When General Jaeyun returned from his meeting about the next day's battle, he found me fast asleep in Youngnim's arms. Youngnim asked him the question that hung in the air, "What are you going to do with the child?" The general looked at me, thoughtful. Then he said, "I will raise him here, in the barracks." Youngnim raised an eyebrow. "Why?" Jaeyun replied, "The child was wrapped in the Xiwei flag. For all we know, he could be a prince, or someone significant. If the king finds out, he'll order the child's death to avoid any future threat. But what crime has a newborn committed? None." That night, General Jaeyun ordered all soldiers who had seen me to swear a military oath of secrecy. Any disobedience would be considered treason, and punished by death. As a royal relative and brother to the king, his words were final. He made a silent promise to himself, when he marries, he will raise me properly. As his own. And so the night passed. I slept in his bed. The man who touched no soul touched me with the gentlest care. His scarred hand stroked my forehead, like a man petting a loyal creature after war, but this time, there was love. From that moment, I was his. And though I wouldn't know my origins for many years, I never once felt like a stranger. Even if one day I discover the truth, I don't think I could ever leave him. Because fate brought us together, and something deeper bound us. Was it love? Yes. An affection, silent, unbreakable, between a son and his father. To me, he has always been my father. And Uncle Youngnim, my second. There's so much to tell you about General Jun Jaeyun, the great general of Xiwei. But, my dream is ending. Morning is here. It's a busy morning. Everyone's preparing for war again. General Jaeyun is putting on his armor and checking his sword. Uncle Youngnim comes over and bends near me. His warm breath tickles my tiny ear. Cutie, he whispers, can you please tell the general not to rush into danger? Before you came, he didn't care much about his life, not that I blame him. But now he has you. And if something happened to him, what would we do? Even though I'm here for you, he already treats you like his own son. He sighs. I don't know how things will change once he gets married. But today's war. I have a bad feeling. Anyway, don't worry, Uncle will protect your father with all his might. He pauses. Remind him to give you a name, okay? You deserve it. He kisses my forehead gently and walks out. I know I can't expect much from my father in gestures like that. He's not used to them. But he did leave a final order, that the nurse take great care of me. So now, here I am. And I've made a decision. I will make my father fall for my affection. I will make him worry. I will make him care. Just like Uncle Youngnim said. After they left for war, I was fed and put to sleep again. Children don't do much. We eat, sleep, pee, cry, smile, and dream. I'm sleepy again. But I'll be ready by nightfall. Because tonight, Uncle Youngnim is mine. I'll bully him all night long with my tiny hands and endless baby giggles. And maybe, just maybe, our little world in this battlefield will start to bloom. To be continued.